I'm trying to kind of trim the fat off these costs that are daily and monthly, um, so that I can, really get down to the nitty gritty here because some things I think are kind of waste. I had started carrying an ice chest, and I had kind of a little one so that I could carry, uh, um, like a half gallon of milk and some lunch meat kind of things, just a few refrigerated items. But the problem is that it cost me $3 to $4 a day for ice every day, and it just it just seemed to me that hey, how's it going? Just seemed to me that it was easier just to buy food instead of buy ice like that. Um, and so being $3 to $4 a day for ice in the ice chest at 30 days is hey guys, what's going on? Is kind of a waste of money. If you do 4 times 30 days, that's like $120 a month in ice. So uh, to me, I'd rather spend that on real food because I can go to Walmart and I can get fresh hot macaroni and cheese in a small container for like I think it's like $1.75, and I can even get fresh big giant sliced roasted potatoes, the small scoop from them for like $1.25 or $1.50, something like that. And most of the time they don't even measure; they just start stuffing it all in a bag because I'm real nice to them and they're nice to me. And so right there, for like $3, I have one whole meal. And so, and I don't eat really a lot anyway. I can go to Taco Bell and get two tacos for $1.50 each. I think it's like $1.59 each for two. You know, I mean, you can go to the crappy drive-through at Wendy's and get a whole lunch deal for $5. You can get a whole lunch deal at Taco Bell for $5, but I won't eat all that. Not at one time. Like maybe throughout the whole entire day. It's cold now, so I don't have to worry about trying to keep my milk cold because it stays cold in the car, and I drink it all day and all night long. So I don't need to have ice. It's so cold right now. Um, it just won't stay good in the heated days, but when it's cold like this, it'll stay fine. For like 2 days. And I drink a ton of milk. Uh, and then my biggest cost is fuel. That's like 100 a week. That's 400 right off the top. But a smaller amount of milk. Well, I mean, it'd be more expensive if I do that. It's like $2 for a little tiny milk when it's 2.45 for a half gallon of milk at Walmart. And I drink a ton of milk. I normally drink a gallon a day, but you know that's when I had a house. So I drink about half a gallon a day. You know, and then only good thing of the coldest milk. Right. So that's what I do. I don't have to worry about it going bad, not in when it's cold. And but um, 40 degrees, mother God, has been cold lately. But it got just a little bit warm today, and it'll be a little bit warmer this evening, but not by much. Because the degree difference is like 8 degrees. So if it's 100 degrees outside, it's going to be 108 degrees in the car. If it's um, 40 degrees outside, it's going to be like 48 degrees in the car. Um, so it's about an 8 degree difference. but uh, and you can't run a heater in the car. It sucks too much power, so I can't. I'm not going to do that with my battery pack. I can run a fan with my battery pack. I wish I'd have got one earlier because it would save me huge money on batteries. Because I was going through $5 to $9 worth of batteries every day on fans in the car for the heat, and that's really expensive in a 30-day period. Um, and then I'm incorporating the storages. I'm going through stuff that I just threw in boxes and all that, and sorting all that stuff out and packing it better, and then stacking it up nice and neat in the storages. So I'm trying to take my office storage and incorporate that into one smaller storage and a big giant storage I have that was not packed well. The other storage, it's at another place, and that one's packed to the hill. That one's really packed well, and because I did all that myself, no one else packed it that with me. Um, but all these two units are commercial, and that one over there is personal, and it's got like 67 boxes of my daughter's stuff in there. It's all got to be sold, I guess, because she's never paid me any storage fees or anything, and her sister is jumping my crap, going, "Well, she told you to get rid of it a long time ago. Da, 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 da. She doesn't want it." And it's like, that's not true. She told me to save the stuff for her, and I had asked her twice if she had money for some of the storage. After like 6 months, and then I asked her again in like a year if she could help with any of the storage because I'd been paying it, and she said she didn't have the money. So, but she never said anything about getting rid of it. So, but uh, John Aniston, are you talking about the guy that was Adam's family? Um, and Jay Leno just died. But yeah. So um, right now I'm trying to get all these sorted out, and that reduced my cost $100 to $125 right there. And then if I can really get that big one sorted out good and repacked nicely, then I might be able to get all of it in that one particular unit to still be able to work. There was a fire and he's in the hospital. Jay Leno? Oh no. Damn. That's terrible. But yeah, so uh um that's what I'm doing right now, is trying to just kind of trim the fat a little bit. Um and then I applied for 6 jobs with a hospitality company. They called me today actually, and they said, "Well, you can only pick one." And I'm like, "Well, crap." And so and I'm still waiting on that other job with that other hospitality company that I interviewed for before I even filled out the application. The lady was like, "As soon as you fill out the application, I will, check that out." And it's like, wow. So I had to immediately go do the application, and she wanted to hire me because she was tired of all the kids that come and all they do is play on their phone, and she can't get them off the phone, so she has to fire them. And I'm like, man, I don't even bring my phone with me, you know, because I'm there working for people. That's what I do. You don't pay me to be playing on the phone. So anyway, and oh my gosh, I went to Walmart Boston today, and there was like 4 ladies waiting in the loo, and we're standing there waiting, like for 10 minutes. And I'm sitting there going, I just know it's going to be all Walmart employees because they go to the bathroom and they sit there and play on the phone. And there's one turned around like she has a man's wee wee, and trust me, there's 2 of them. there's no man doing it in the women's bathroom. And that makes it super obvious that you were just jerking around playing on your phone. Instead of going to the bathroom, we're sitting there, peeing our panties, waiting to go. And sure as heck, like three of them popped out. One pops out, has Walmart uniform on with a phone in hand. Next one pops out, Walmart uniform with a phone in hand. Next one pops out, Walmart uniform with a phone in hand. And um, fire in the car. What? Oh no. Yeah, and so um that was like just, mind blowing. That's what they do. Now, I was supposed to go to work for them. I had applied it on their big website with like the 60 pages of damn app. Walmart's the worst to apply for. Oh my gosh. And uh and I had two or three interviews at the Valpy store. I had one interview at Fort Walton, and then Sandestin called me, and I was like, no, I'm not going that far. That's almost to Panama City. It's not worth it to me. At that time, we were living out at Eglin, and then Destin called me, and I went down and interviewed twice, I think, and then 6 months later, the Destin head dude calls me, the last one I had interviewed with, and he's like, okay, we're ready to hire you now. And it was like, I already had a job. I was making like $250 a day. Are you kidding? And so he was like a little bit late. But anyway, so oh, he had showed me during one of the interviews. He said these are all the employee lockers, and they were all clear with a light on in them. The front was clear, and it was really weird. I was like, what's all that? And so he says, oh, that's for all their personal stuff and their phone. We don't let them keep a phone on the floor. And so they get caught with a phone on the floor. That's the end of the job. And he's like, you only get so many marks, and then you're fired. So I was like, oh. So now I think his name was Cecil, the guy that was head of employment over there at Destin Walmart. Well, he's since left. He left a couple years ago, and so now I guess it's just AWOL with the telephone thing. Plus Walmart gave them a telephone that they use to clock in and clock out with, and they can only do it when they're actually inside the building. That's a new thing they did. They issued everybody a phone, and it's for work messages or clocking in and out. And but man, I'm tell you what, the worst place is going to the bathroom because they live in there playing on the telephone. And it's really a bummer when you're a customer and you're just trying to make somebody's paycheck and you just would like to go to the loo. Why do you have to wait in a little tiny bathroom that has like, 4 or 5 toilets in it, and it's all full of Walmart employees playing on the telephone, making customers wait to go to the loo? We're only there to make your paycheck, man. you know? So it's definitely changed. But that's a very large problem right now. I've talked to, a few employers that I interviewed with, and their biggest gripe is, the young kids, and they're playing on the phone, and they can't get them off that phone. So they'll work. And shoot, I saw at the Crab, man, when I was working over there, they had a big black guy from Jamaica that was super nice, really nice guy. And I love to hear them talk. They sound like music when they talk, like they're singing, and because that accent is so pretty. And this guy, he was like an older gentleman, and really nice. And then they brought this little white kid in that looked like a freaking meth head, and he had 2 phones, and he'd be texting on one and one to his ear, bopping around, bopping around. And it was like he was never doing anything. And it was like, why are they even paying him? Because the Jamaicans doing all the work. I mean, why would they even bother? And then they moved the Jamaican guy down to the butcher shop to cut all the fresh fish and the meat that comes in. And they never brought him back to dish, and they let that kid take it over. And you'd go back there, and he was never doing any dishes. He was constantly on the phone. Then he brought a big giant Bluetooth speaker in, and he Bluetoothed that to one of his phones and played some really sicko music. I mean, I don't know how anybody would like it. It was really bad. Um, it was worse than that music. I remember in Huntsville, Alabama, the big thing with the music was this really strange music. It was like acid, acid rock or something. And then all they did was scream all through the song. You remember that when that was a real big thing? Those songs were all screaming. And I had a friend of mine that had a band and they did that. And he's like, "Did you hear him scream? How long he could scream for? Wasn't that awesome?" And I'm like, going, "Oh my gosh." There's like no words in the song, they just scream. And it's real loud and it's just a bunch of noise. And you just go, "Oh," you know, all I do is just scream. But anyway, it's a far cry from Alice Cooper or anybody else. But anyway, so yeah, it's a huge problem, the cell phone thing, and I don't even know why they bother to go work because they can't do a job, you know. But anyway, the weather's just sucky, hard. Yeah, it might be like that. That heavy metal, hard metal, something like that. That might be what you call it. It's not even music. It's just. Ugh. But I had friends that were really into that, and they were like, "You should hear this guy. He's so great." And all you hear is a bunch of screaming. And it's like, oh, I'm sitting there trying to figure it out. I'm like, is this guy being serious or is he joking around? But they were like real serious about all that. It's like, it wasn't anything, you know, it was just absolutely nothing. but, but yeah, so, uh, I don't know. But, it's also winter time in this area and some places are super seasonal and they get dirt slow. Probably one of the genres I hate. um, so it's kind of harder to get work right now. Now, in the next couple weeks, it'll get busy for a minute. It'll slow down for a week or two. Then it'll pick back up. It'll run good for about the week before Christmas. Um, and then through Christmas, through New Year's, and then it's going to die. After that, right after New Year's, it will die. And then business won't really pick up until April, which is about the norm here. So right now, all the Canadians are coming. So um, it's funny because you'll see them in Walmart and they're buying like really warm clothes, and it's hilarious. It's like, well, duh, you know. Um, and I mean, it's really cold where they're from. I'm sure it was snowing when they left, but I mean, this is winter in Florida. It's just that way. Uh, and mid Florida is always about 10 to 15 degrees hotter than here. And then, lower Florida is going to be a little bit warmer. So, uh, you know, I'm not down in lower Florida at all. Nowhere near that. But, but yeah, so, you know, such is life. But, I mean, I could relocate, I just really don't have time to do that right now because I'm trying to, get a lot of the stuff sold off that's in the storages in my retail stock and that, trying to run it out online, which is slow as the devil. It's so much easier to go on the road and sell it. It's way better. The problem is that the gas prices are a little problematic yet, and I would like to put two new tires on the car so it would have a whole brand new set. And because I do not like going on the road unless I'm totally 100% prepared. And I do need to clean my throttle body this week or next week. I need to do that. So, but I'm real finicky about my cars. But yeah, so right now I'm just kind of working on trimming the fat thing. I lowered my gym membership down to local because I don't need to nationwide right now because I'm not traveling nationwide. So that it cost me like $25 in tax for the monthly, and then I took it down to the local, which is like $10 a month. So that's a humongous difference in money. So I figure I can always change it back to the other, if I go on the road soon. But it's, paying $120 a year by the month at $10 a month is a lot cheaper than $25 a month for a year. So that's a huge savings. Um, so, you know, um, I with the other with the more expensive membership, I get free tanning bed and free water massages and all that stuff. But I do like the water massages; they're really good for my back, especially when I get injured and stuff. But in tanning bed, I hardly ever use them. I might go in 1 or 2 times a year, just because it makes you warm, like for the whole day. When it's really, really cold, it's a good way to make you warm. But, it's just trying to, trim the fat there a little bit. Um, and right now, the only debt I've got for the end of the month here is one of the storages and the balance of my car insurance. So that's the only really important stuff left for the month. I don't have any like huge debts or anything like that, credit cards, bank loans, any of that kind of stuff. So I don't have to worry about all that kind of junk. I don't do car payments. I buy my cars cash outright. So that's about all I'm footing right now. I just got to the point where I wanted to see if I could kind of trim the fat around the edges there and see if I could do something a little better. And I think this will help really a lot. Um, Now, if I can get all my office stuff and shipping stuff to fit nicely and still be able to work out of that one unit as I sell stuff out, I get it on that one big unit. I would have another $100 savings a month on top of it, which would be great. But in the meantime, now this is supposed to be a really busy time of the year for eBay and all that internet sales. So we'll see what happens. Um, but and then I found a bunch of really cool stock in the trash the other day. Oh my God, big money, big money. A bunch of high dollar name brand clothes, and I washed them yesterday, and they came out really good. And I was like, man, this is all big money stuff. So used clothes, are a big seller right now on the internet. It's a big thing. And if you got really good name brand stuff, they really sell well. So that was impressive. All that was free. Didn't have to pay a penny for that. Um, and let's see, what else? Well, today I managed to get a few more boxes. It didn't rain today, so I did get a few more boxes, which helps me out because I need that for sorting stuff out. And oh yeah, man, a whole hefty bag full of really, really like virtually new high dollar name brand stuff that's really popular on the internet right now. So all of it washed good except for 3 pieces. They'll have to be washed again, see how they come out. Because I don't like to sell any defective stuff. There's people that'll do it, but I just would rather not. I'd rather sell stuff that's perfect, looks brand new, no stains, no holes, no nothing in it. And just for me, it's a lot easier to sell that way. It's really nice. Um, but yeah, so that was really a cool score, and I wished I'd had time to list it today, but I was too busy sorting stuff out from when I had to move in a hurry from that other toilet bowl that rained all over my storages and everything else. Um, uh, you know, I've still got, a ton of boxes that just threw stuff in, moving like the fire sale. So I'm sorting all that stuff out into stuff that needs to be sold, and then it's stuff, that I'm keeping, and all that. And sorting out my office stuff, my sewing stuff, my craft stuff, because it's all mixing up. So I needed boxes so I could sort everything. And I'm still washing all that water damaged stuff. God. And so I did a ton of wash this week. I did about $110 worth of washing this week to try to get to all that stuff and rewash it and see if any of it will revive. Unfortunate thing is, so much of it got ruined from those crappy storages over there. It cost me money and damages for sure. And they force you to pay insurance in all these storage companies, and their insurance isn't worth the crap. They pay 1,000 or 2,000 max, and it's all these hoops you have to jump through and all this horse crap, and they come up with every excuse in the world not to do anything. It's just really super scammy. But you cannot pay it if you have house insurance, and you give them a copy of your contract and all that stuff. Then you don't have to pay any of that. So, yeah. But other than that, just trying to get things sorted out. And while I'm sitting in downtime, I'm trying to get it done as fast as I can, because I have had hardly any time to be around there at all, and working in my online stuff, except for shipping stuff out, which has been real slow the past couple months. About 1 to 2 months been pretty slow. Got a couple sales last week, but they were just tiny. And I just hadn't had time to fool with it, because I've been working so much. I was working like 3 jobs all at once. And, it was odd because the jobs that I thought were going to be really good turned out not to be, you know. So, what do you do? But, there's a possibility of getting in on something, in the next week or so easily, because everybody's going to be short for the Thanksgiving holiday time, because everybody comes out for the Thanksgiving and Christmas, for their vacation or visiting family, whatever. So it's a tourist time. But, so, and then, right now is Canadians coming down. They come to all parts of Florida. But the busier, part of Florida is mid Florida, like Tampa area. Their tourist season is winter. Yeah, I mean, they are banging in the winter. It doesn't make a difference how cold it gets. I mean, everybody's there. Where most of ours is spring. This has always been known here for spring. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, just trying to, you know, sort through and trim the fat on some of these costs I have that are daily, and uh, on the storages and stuff like that. Even though if I was paying rent by the month, I should be paying a whole bunch more than what I'm paying now. Nothing less than 1,500 a month. You know, so I mean, either way it falls, if I was living in a place or boondocking, it's all about the same. You just be more in a place. So yeah, it's just it's just stuff that I've thought about, and I've decided to evaluate it, analyze it, and I thought this is what I need to do. So I can get free food being a boondocker every week now, because they got a new rule at the food place. Before you had to have an address and all this other stuff, and but now they just started this thing a few months ago, where if you're boondocker on the street or your car, they'll give you food once a week, and so I go over there every 2 to 3 weeks and get a little something. The first time I went, they gave me a bunch of stuff, but they for some reason they can't figure out that like you don't have a can opener. So they give you cans of stuff when you don't have a can opener, and you have no way to cook. I mean, the last time I was there, I told them, I said, look, I don't live in an RV, you know, with a kitchen and a stove and a fridge and all that. I say, when you guys give me canned food, it doesn't do me a whole lot of good because, I mean, I don't have an electric can opener, and I wouldn't bother to even buy a hand can opener. I mean, it's worthless because you can't heat it up. I'm just such, my idea of roughing it is not camping, it's a room in the Hilton. So I'm so far from really eating anything out of the can unless it were like pork and beans. I don't mind eating those cold or hot, like once a year. That's just not something I would eat every day because it was a kid thing. You didn't care if it was cold or hot. You just eat it because it was fun, because it's kind of like candy. But I mean, and the first time I went up there, they tried to give me a dozen eggs, and they were offended I wouldn't take them. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with a dozen eggs if I'm homeless in my car? What would you like me to do with them? One, they take up a huge amount in an ice chest, and two, how am I going to eat them? They're not cooked; they're raw. you know, I mean, yeah, it gets so hot you can just about literally bake cookies on cookie sheets in your dashboard of your car. You know, but I don't think I'm gonna be cooking eggs. On a tray and a dashboard of my car. I mean, you have to be really careful with chicken products and pork products if they're not heated and cooled properly. It's really serious stuff. Um, yeah, I had a friend of mine that works at a gas station store, and once a week she has to pull all of the food off that's in the coolers and freezers, and she's supposed to throw it away, and she'd give it to me, and she'd give me all these really great biscuits and with the sausage and the cheese and the egg and all the really nice stuff. And man, I put like 5 or 6 of those suckers in my cooler. And the first day I had one for breakfast and one at night. The next morning I got up and I had one, and it made me sick as a dog. And I said, I wonder if it's that biscuit. Then I had one at night, did the same thing, made me sick as a dog immediately. The problem is because of pork. It needs to be really seriously refrigerated, and being an ice chest, unless it's buried in the ice and all that, being kept super cold, it's going bad. It's not good for you. So I said no more of that. I'm not going to take that risk. Um, I'm not a great fan of bologna. I used to kind of like that when I was a kid, but a lot of times I give you this bologna, a big thing of bologna, and then when you try to eat it, it doesn't taste good. You just go, man, why did I ever eat this when I was a kid? Even if you have the cheese and the good wheat bread and all that good stuff, it just doesn't taste any good. So that's a total waste to buy ice to refrigerate that. So, you know, sometimes I would catch some cool deals at Walmart when somebody was new in the deli and didn't know how to weigh stuff. And you go in there and get a big package of like honey baked ham for like $1.40 or something like that, that they sliced off in the deli and I didn't put the pricing right. And I would score on that, or some fresh sliced, extra cheddar sharp cheese, and score on that for only a couple bucks, and that would last me, like 3 days. But you got to keep buying ice. You got to keep buying ice, $3 to $4 a day. And I just said, if I just stop buying ice, which I did that like a week ago, I said I would just be able to buy food that I could just eat. Hot food that I could eat. And so that's what I did. I stopped buying ice, and I buy, a half gallon of milk every day. And I just get little things of food when I'm hungry. I'll go get, one Taco Bell taco or two, or I might go get a macaroni and cheese at Walmart, for $1.50 or whatever it is. And just little simple cheapy stuff. I don't need anything major. Um, but yeah, I was eating at the uh, one restaurant at the crab place. I got free gumbo every day, so that was rocking. Yeah, and then sometimes they would bring stuff out and say, "Here, you guys can have it," and take my tray home or whatever. So crazy video. It was really bad. Boy, I bet it was. And so that was kind of cool. I would have, food from work or while at work. It was free. And then I had a really good discount over there, half off of anything. Yeah, never used it. Never did. I just didn't want to splurge like that. I just wanted to try to, get upright and be on time paying all my bills. And, uh, I could do that later as time went on when I felt like I could afford to do that. So it's really weird because I'm so used to having so much money. I'm able to buy anything I want. And since the pandemic, it's just kind of gone downhill, no brakes. I've never been more poor in my whole entire life. Um, if the gas situation could get sorted out real good, and I put two more tires on the car, I'll be ready to roll on the road, my friend. And that's where my money is at. Always has been, always will be. So, other than that, that's kind of about it. Heard from some good friends that are in town today. Yay. Oh, man, I didn't even pay attention to call. I was so busy, taping up boxes and sorting stuff out. And, phone ding dong all the time. People working in a meat factory, and it showed them dropping the meat on the floor and still packaging. Oh, you'd be surprised. I worked at Golden Corral. I could tell you bad stories about Golden Corral. Really bad. I worked at Sonic just as like a joke, as a thing for like a week, and that was very impressive. Sonic is super clean, very clean about their food. hmm And they make like all their stuff. It's not like shipped in KFC. KFC, all their stuff's like shipped in. All their biscuit stuff and their cookies, they're all shipped in. Like they do really cook the cookies, and they do really cook the biscuits, and they do really cook the chicken. But um, all the stuff's pre-done. Yep. So yeah, Sonic makes all their stuff from scratch. Their onion rings, the reason they're so good is because they dip them like 3 times. They dip them in batter 3 times, and they cook them there. Yeah. Sonic's it's like an old 60s or 50s car hop type place where you drive up and park there, and they it's like for hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff like that. But Sonic's real clean. hmm Yeah. Factories are different. Factories are intriguing. I worked factory, gosh, 2 times. sewing factory, and I worked a carpet mill out in Oklahoma. Really high paying job at that carpet mill. My God, it was high paying, but I had to work graveyard, which sucked. Like, I had to work second shift or graveyard, usually second shift. So I would get off like at midnight. And God, I got to tell you, that job, oh, man, you didn't know if you were going to come out with all 10 fingers in both hands. It was really scary. Really scary. I got really spooked a couple times when the machinery malfunctioned. Yeah, and you know what? A lot of them don't do the roller skaters anymore. And my friend Pat Robertson, he kind of frowned on the roller skate thing anymore. He said because um, the insurance was so problematic. If you had an employee hit the deck or something. Hell, I fell in Sonic and freaking, I don't think he ever paid the bill. Um, but uh, yeah, uh, and I wasn't wearing roller skates. I was in the kitchen. I was flipping burgers. I wanted to learn all the different jobs and see how the Sonic operated before I did their advertising design for their billboards. And he thought I was crazy as loon. I said, I want to see how the operation runs, so I have a better idea of how to work on the fine points of your business. Turns out that guy, he just left a few months ago, and it turns out the word is that he had 200 Sonics. I never knew that. I never knew that. Amazing. And I used to go in his office. And he had a big office and a trailer behind the one Sonic that he had, and he had three computer screens going at once, and he'd be looking at them and stuff. And it, and I was like, so what is all that? He's like, oh, the stock market. He's like, I got this on here and this on here and this on here, so I watch it. And I was like, okay. you know, I don't know if he was watching the Sonic stocks or what he was doing. But brilliant man, very brilliant man. Yeah, I used to help him with my taxes and stuff. Um, one year he said, why don't you file taxes? You get a huge refund on your kid for the year. I'm like, uh-uh. And he's like, yeah. And so I would bring my papers down and all that, and then stuff on my business. And he showed me how to write taxes off on a business from buying supplies to the point of where it becomes a hobby. If you buy more than what you intake, that's all tax deduction on supplies. It's kind of interesting. He knew all the tricks and the edges there. It was pretty interesting. He's like, it's really easy to do. You know, I was like, oh. You used to be able to go down to the IRS and they would do it free for you right there in person. And then they discontinued that the last time I went. They're like, oh, we don't do that service anymore. So I don't know. That was up in Bama. They may do it other places. I was hired to work the IRS in Memphis, Tennessee. Sure was. You had to take a bunch of tests to do all that. And a friend of mine told me, man, they pay so much money. It's like almost $20 an hour. And all you do is go over people's claims. I said, I'm not a licensed CPA or anything like that. And they said, oh, no, you don't have to do all that. You work for them. And you review claims and stuff and check on red flags or whatever. And then it goes to the next person. And it's like, really? And they're like, hey, you should try that job. It's really good. It's just seasonal. And it's like, okay. So I went down and went to the meeting and everything and took the big test that takes hours and hours and passed the test, which is really hard to pass from what I was told. Passed that. They told me I was hired, and then I was engaged to a guy that talked me out of it. I was also offered a job for civil engineering in Memphis, Tennessee, and to teach school. And he told me to drop those. I wanted to do the civil real bad because I got 3 engineering degrees, so it was right up my alley. And I had 3 interviews for that, and they were just hot on me about that. I wanted to do that so bad. Yep, and 150 a year. That was good money back then. Yeah, yeah. Apparently it's available to anybody if you want a good side job. If you can be near the IRS, um, it's a really good side job. But you have to be fairly smart. You have to be good with figures and uh, answer all the questions right. And if you can pass it, you can work for them and get paid really, really good money. Really good money. That's a government job. Government jobs are real good to get into. Even if you can get on a military base, if you can clear the background check and all that, don't go up there if you have outstanding tickets or any crap like that. You go instantly to jail. I know somebody that did that. They were trying to get a job on base and they went up there and they had an outstanding ticket from a year or two ago. And man, they ended up going to jail for 3 months over that. A friend of mine's wife. Yep. It was like hell to get her out because she was put in by the military. Yep. And but yeah, they have really good job opportunities at these bases, and you don't have to be military to do them. Just make sure your background's straight. You don't have any outstanding legalities of any sort, and you'll be fine. Um, you can make huge money, and they're mostly contract jobs. You sign on for a term, and if they like you, they'll renew your term, and you sign a new contract. A friend of mine's daughter has been doing for like 5 years. She does um, these party function things, and so every time they have some sort of big function they got to do, she handles it. She does all the ordering of the food and the decorations and whatever, how many chairs they need or stuff like that, how many tables, and where it's going to be and everything. Family something work with our local base. Yeah, and so you can get, she gets paid really good, and they keep renewing her contract, and they keep raising the price every time they go to renewal. It'll it'll be 6 month or year, or it might be 2 or 3 year contract, and they pay really good. And her job for her is very, very easy. It's just really easy. She just hangs out till they get ready to do some event, and then they go, okay, you're doing this event, an awards ceremony or some crap like that, our birthday for the commander or something. And she starts, getting ready with, okay, we'll do balloons or, whatever. And she gets paid really, really well. They have jobs, regular jobs, like at the stores on base. Like they'll have the job at the grocery store, and you can go work up there and do that. They always pay higher than anywhere else. So if you work on base, you get paid higher. They have painting jobs, they have maintenance jobs, construction jobs, and you do not have to be military. And you can go do that. But like I say, just make sure your crap is straight legally before you do it. If you have anything outstanding at all, they will arrest you and you'll have like hell to get out. And so then you have federal charges and you have regular local charges all at once. So, but it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Um, if you ever get a chance to do any of that, you know, I mean, I've known guys that were doing handling flight stuff and stuff. My old school teacher was retired from the military. Yeah, yeah, they have really great opportunities, and you don't even have to be military to go do it. You would be surprised all the opportunities. I told a guy that was sleeping in his car for 2 years before me. His wife threw him out and put an order on him and stuff, and he was working Tom Thumb at the gas station for a little bit. He hated that. Worked somewhere else, and I said, "Have you ever tried working on the base? They pay pretty good and they have all kinds of different little jobs." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." And all that. Do you know he finally went, and this guy turned around and he rented a trailer house, okay? Was out of that car, got the stuff out of his storage, bought a new motorcycle on top of it, and is still working for the base out of LP Eglin. Yep, yep. And he wanted to be a cop, was the thing. He wanted to be a cop, and he was studying that, and had to drop for a little bit, and was going to go back and finish, and because he wanted to go into special services and stuff after that, and he never even did that. He just got that job at the base, and he's so happy with that. He's making bank up there. And so, regular money, you get all the benefits, everything. So, yeah. But, uh, it's like with DoorDash, you can't even get on the base unless you sign up for the permit thing. And they'll give you one for like a month. And then you got to go apply for it all over again. That's why you can't drive in on the base. Now, if you're ex-military, you have a card, and you can drive in on the base and do it with the card. The only problem is that's against the law because you're not supposed to be bringing anything and delivering it. You're only supposed to use that card for going on the base to go shopping or something like that because you get those benefits for life. It's not for delivering stuff on the base. That's why it's a secured base because you're not supposed to be bringing anything in there. Somebody could bring a bomb in there in a pizza box. You know what I mean? It's secured for a reason. So, but plus anything you do wrong is federal. Sure, a lot of cars here going around in circles all of a sudden. There's like 4 of them all going around in circles. But yeah, so I like how they're sucking freaking sit there with their brights on me. It's just beyond me. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess they decided they would kill their lights. That was a bright idea. But anyway, so there's some different little opportunities around out there, but I really don't want to get in a long term thing because I don't know that I will stay here. Um, so opening my retail store, I was going to do that under a year contract, and then I had to waste all that money on that big fast move. That cost me over $2,000 to do that move. And so that was kind of out of the picture. And I could have done it 30 days later. I had the money to do it, but I just said, maybe stuff's meant to be, because I would have had to, signed a year contract on it, and maybe I didn't need to do that, because like I say, I'm still kind of leaving it open to what I may do. Um, I may not stay over here. Um, I'm still kind of, debating that, just seeing what the future has to bring. My biggest thing right now is trying to reduce all these storages, trying to get all this retail stuff sold off if I can. 225 sign-on bonus. What, for military? They had a couple $1,000 sign-on bonuses here, and a few. They had one where they were going to give a brand new car away at one of the restaurants in Destin. Yeah, and I was like, whoa, now. But I did a sign-on bonus at Panda, and that was a ripoff. I need to do a vlog about that. I had a friend of mine that was working there, one of the showgirls I dressed, and business got kind of slow, and so she got a side job. And she said, man, I make so much money. She's like, I get overtime, everything. And I said, really? And she says, yeah, they're paying me $15 an hour. I said, $15 an hour? And at that time, the minimum wage here was like $8. Now they're raising it like every year or something, or every 6 months. Now it's up to like 11 right now, this minute. And so, oddly enough, it just raised like 30 days ago. And it went from like 10 to 11. But anyway, and I'm like, $15 an hour. She's like, yeah, plus I get overtime and I just get all the hours from hell. And I'm like, damn. She says, yeah, I just work whatever. And she says, uh, you gotta come work with me. I said, man, business kind of slow. If I worked 1 or 2 days a week, that'd be a cool pickup, you know? And she says, yeah, it's a $400 reward if I do refer a friend thing, you know? I said, really? I said, I would do it just to get you that $400. She says, yeah, all you gotta do is work like 30 days or something like that. And that was a big lie. They never paid her that $400. I got news. Yep, that was a total scam. So, I'm trying to figure out what this person is doing. Is trying to learn how to drive or what they're exactly doing. And now they're going to flash the lights on the other car. Just flashing lights on me. People don't realize that when they sit in the parking lot and those damn lights are glaring and they're like right in somebody's face, and you know damn well there's somebody in the car. It's like so rude. And you sit playing on the phone, playing on the phone, playing on the phone with the headlights in your face. But, well, yeah, so, I don't know. But, it's a little cool right now. And, I gotta get rolling. I got some stuff done today. Not as much as I wanted to, but thank God I got some boxes. Oh my gosh. That was really awesome. Um, because my biggest thing was I didn't have enough boxes of the right size to try to get stuff packed up and sorted and organized. So tomorrow I should get a lot done tomorrow. I'm about halfway done on that one unit, so um, it would be really cool if I could get it all moved tomorrow. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'll get a majority of it done, which would be cool and be just in time because if I have a job come up this week that I can try and see how it works out, I really need to have open time and this stuff needs to be finished. So, yeah, yep. So anyway, but other than that, that's kind of about it. Just cooling out and getting stuff organized and kind of going from there. My scale just broke for my shipping and jewelry weighing, but I've had it like for 19 years. I need to do a really sad vlog over that. Yeah. Oh my. But other than that, that's about it. I got a refund back on an order I shipped out the other day because I guessed at the weight because my scale went out. And it was just too big a waste of money to drive down the post office and weigh it and then come back and ship it out through pirate ship. So I just guessed and it went through the postal service and I got a refund. I get refunds from time to time because I always add a little bit more to it to make sure it clears so it doesn't come back. And uh, right now I don't have anywhere for it to come back to. That's the problem. So I want to make sure it gets to its destination and not short. But anyway, they gave me a cool refund. I got an email today. I got another refund. So other than that, that's kind of about it. Um, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging around. Oh, check out the news on Adventures with Purpose, Jared Lysick on YouTube and on the internet. You'll find that kind of interesting. I am so disappointed. Oh my gosh. I do a vlog about it, but it could be real seriously controversial. And I really don't want to get into a defamation of character thing either, because it would all be hearsay, because it's only stuff that, you read in the newspaper. So it's better to know the facts, you know, but it's kind of interesting. But anyway, I hope you guys have a really great day. Do something kind for a stranger. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.